Welcome everybody, and thank you for joining us. And without really any further ado, we will now move straight away to the announcement on who the three finalists for the European Parliament's Sakharov Prize in 2021 are. I'll start by giving the floor to the Chair of the Development Committee, Mr. Thomas Tobé, followed by the Chair of the Foreign Affairs Committee, Mr. David McAllister. So, Mr. Tobé, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Today, the Committees on Foreign Affairs and on Development have voted to select three short-listed candidates for the Sakharov Prize. The Sakharov Prize is one of the most visible aspects of the work that the European Parliament does for protecting and promoting human rights, democracy, and freedom around the world. Every year, the Parliament considers a range of excellent nominations, all of personalities who risk their lives and liberty in defending fundamental rights. This Parliament has celebrated and supported personalities like Denis Mukwege or Nadia Murad, and not to mention last year's laureates from the democratic opposition in Belarus. Unfortunately, throughout this past year, freedom of thought has continued to be under attack in many parts of the world. It is important to stress that the Parliament stands with all activists who dedicate their lives at great personal risk around the world in defense of these values. It is therefore a vote not against anybody, but rather a democratic vote by the Parliament in favor of the three shortlisted candidates. I would now like to hand over to my co-chair David McAllister, who will tell us who the three shortlisted candidates are and what they stand for.
Thank you very much, Thomas. Following the vote this morning, the three candidates chosen as shortlisted nominees for the Sakharov Prize 2021 are, in alphabetical order, the first nominees are Afghan women, represented by the following individuals, in alphabetical order: Shahrazad Akbar, Mary Akrami, Zarifa Ghaffari, Palwasha Hassan, Freshta Karim, Sara Karimi, Metra Miran, Horia Mozadik, Seema Samar, Habiba Sarabi, and Anisa Shahid. The nomination of this group of prominent Afghan women is a strong signal of support for safeguarding women's rights and fundamental rights and those who defend them not only in Afghanistan but also worldwide. The second nominee is Janine Áñez, a Bolivian opposition politician and symbol of repression against dissidents and deprivation of due process and the rule of law in Latin America, who is currently imprisoned. This nomination shows strong support for democracy, the rule of law, and fundamental freedoms. And the third nominee, ladies and gentlemen, is Alexei Navalny from the Russian Federation. Mr. Navalny is an opposition politician and an anti-corruption activist, currently incarcerated under harsh conditions in a high-security penal colony. This nomination recognizes and underscores the efforts of a courageous individual to stand up for democratic governance, the rule of law, civic freedoms, and the fight against corruption. The laureate of the Sakharov Prize 2021 will be decided next week on the 20th of October by Parliament's President and the political group's leaders. The laureates will be invited to an exchange of views at a joint meeting of the Development Committee, the Foreign Affairs Committee, and our Subcommittee on Human Rights in Strasbourg, to be held on the 13th of December, with the awards ceremony scheduled on the 15th of December in the plenary of the European Parliament, again in Strasbourg. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much. And as already stated, please remember to keep an eye out for the final laureate who will be announced next week. Thanks a lot for today.
Good.
Perfect.
See you, Thomas.
See you.
Have a
Go back to
wonderful
Sweden now.
weekend.
Okay. Same. Take it easy. Bye-bye.
So I go to the... See you. Thank you, everyone.